Robin Johnston. First, to Australia's favourite art form, the movies. Figures from the Motion Picture Distributors Association of Australia show that we're in the midst of a movie boom, with more Australians going to the cinema than ever before. This would not be news to the 300 residents of Nundle in northern New South Wales, whose cinema is small in size but not in importance. The general store and the bank may have closed, but once a fortnight there's a film at the Memorial Hall. Maybe two films, one for the children to see before they fall asleep on the floor. District Nurse Sue Denison used to organise a Friday night bus to take the town's young people to the movies in Tamworth, but the 3-hour round trip became a bit much for everyone. So she attended a conference on regional cinema, decided to set up an arts council and start the voluntary enterprise that is the Nundle Cinema.
So tell me, both of you, you established a little cinema somewhere up near Armandale, did you?
At a little town called Nundle. Actually, it's a little village called Nundle.
Yeah.
And I was employed by Hunter New England.
What's that?
At Hunter New England Health as a nurse practitioner. And one of the things that when we're looking at health, we look at ways of maximising health, and we developed a bright idea to start a cinema.
Nundle has had a history of being involved in the picture show industry. They made this really fantastic Japanese western, The Drifting Avenger. It's the story of a Japanese cowboy, and they have the sheriff of Nundle, and they use the Peel Inn, and you'll probably have seen the back wing doors on the Peel Inn. It's the greatest heap of cornball that I have ever seen, but you know, it certainly makes people very excited when they know it's coming around again. Bill and I came to live in the Nundle Shire 7 years ago, and I was appointed the first community nurse to set up Nundle Health Service. And I realised that Nundle, like all rural communities, was suffering because of the rural recession. It's understandable that people in rural communities are depressed, and we hear a lot on the news about youth suicide in rural areas. And young people really felt there was nothing for them.
There's no sporting teams in Nundle for kids and even for adults. There's no real cultural outlets. There's no real recreation activities. So it makes it really hard for kids to have a regular sort of activity just to do, and just to sort of release a bit of boredom.
So you already had an arts council in town, or you had to create one?
No, we had to create it.
Is that easy to do?
No, nothing.
Well, we kind of got involved when it was really little, and there was only about 10 people there the first sitting, and you know, we were kind of, everyone was working out how the sound is going and how to do the projection.
You couldn't possibly call the Nundle cinema a conventional cinema. We have intrepid Sue Denison. Usually meets most people on the door and makes them welcome, whether they're old friends or new.
The Emperor's New Groove. But I didn't see it, but I heard a lot of laughter.
Have a good night, everyone, and lights out.
Once I was out there enjoying the film so much that I forgot all about the reel change, and I had to apologise to the audience. Sorry about that.
I mean, it's trash, man. You should be reading like the Times or something.
This is my dessert.
They got some contest at school, this writing thing. You ever enter one of those?
I think for us it's been a lifeline, being out here in the sticks and coming all the way from Canada, and to come to Nundle and have the pleasure of going to the cinema every 2 weeks. It's a real social outlet for us. There's intermission, which I think is really, really interesting, where you kind of get to critique and analyse the film.
The moment after the reel finishes, it's just that second, and you have a whole other half to go.
It always seems to be at a really good point.
And everybody goes,
oh, is he going to go? Is he going to make it?
And everybody just analyzes the movie for 20 minutes while they're redoing the tape.
At supper, we'd all sit round and talk about the film that we'd seen, and
You always had a supper?
always had supper.
Oh, yes. That's most important.
It was, just tea and coffee and biscuits, but people really seemed to look forward to that. And I can remember people would bring their hot water bottles and fill their hot water bottles out of the urn. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
And the dogs would come and.
Irrespective of the length of the movie, we always have an interval. That's just mandatory. And basically because that's part of the night. A lot of people will say if the movie's a horror, they enjoy themselves because they've come along for the supper.
Enjoying the movie?
It took me a while to get on with the story.
Yeah. Waking and Divine. Well, the best films, the best film so far has been Waking and Divine. And even though it's not really aimed at youth and really it was just aimed at our town, everyone in the town, the young people, the old people, just the characters. I remember actually after that film, everyone just applauded.
Knock on my door, or could it be you do not want to set me free?
So our first opening night, we showed the picture show now.
There we went again.
It was hugely popular. We had hundreds of people. We kept the swimming pool open at 9 o'clock and people got out of the swimming pool and sat down and watched a great movie.
Some of the locals were actually extras in the screening of the picture show, man.
Everyone told us it was impossible to have a successful cinema with the population that we have here, and in spite of that we still exist. This is our third year.
The aim of the picture show was to try and help recreate the concept of community, because I don't believe that the rural economy is really going to change much. I think what we have to do is to help people learn to live within the confines of life as it is and find joy.
The Film and Television Office, in referring to this project, said it was the first time that there'd been a proven association between cinema and health. So I think that was quite significant.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this a model to replicate? In other words, we talk about the fact that country towns are emptying and that life there is...
Well, it worked. In the time that it ran, it worked for us.
Sue Denison also organised a conference in Nundle called Flicks in the Sticks, attended by representatives of other small towns interested in setting up their own voluntary cinema. And it worked. 4 of those New South Wales communities have taken on the idea: Coonabarabran, Barraville, Woolaman and Barraba.
I'm gonna pick my baby up and take her to the picture show.